Welcome to the Huey and Angelina Wilson Foundation's Prison Reentry Initiative Training, Part 6 of 7, The Application. By now, you've learned all about the many components of the Prison Reentry Initiative application and the types of programs we seek to fund. This video will take you on a step-by-step walkthrough of each of our 3 applications. Before beginning this video, please download the type of application you would like to complete, located on our website, www.hawilsonfoundation.org/prison reentry. Click on Initiative Application on the left. As we conduct our walkthrough of the application questions, it may be useful for you to have a printed version on which to make notes. If you completed an application to the Foundation in the past, you are familiar with our traditional grant-making process. The process for our Prison Reentry Initiative is quite different. You will want to familiarize yourself with the items covered in the full training video series, as well as the documents available on our website. The Prison Reentry Initiative guidelines have been updated to provide greater clarity and the results sought from initiative investments. Application questions are structured to clarify project results and the project elements required for achieving those results. Applications, there are 3 of them, include guidance and examples for key questions. Online progress and final reports will streamline the process and focus on applying learnings to increase the achievements for those served. Successful applications will answer these 3 questions. What project results are you committed to achieving, meaning outcomes from your efforts? How will you know when your results have been achieved? What information or evidence will you use to verify success? What are the critical project activities and project milestones you will use to manage success? We have 3 different types of funding available: programmatic or direct service, capacity and/or collaboration building, and systems change. And each type has its own distinct application. All 3 applications, however, contain these same basic sections. We will now go through what is in each section of the programmatic proposal. After we go through the programmatic proposal, we will discuss the items that are different in the capacity and collaboration building and systems change applications. You will notice that the questions for these 2 types of projects are different because the results we seek from these investments are different. The first section is organizational information, and it covers basic information about your organization and primary contact, how to get in touch with you, what size your budget is, and organizational history. This is also the space where you let us know if your organization is using a fiscal agent. The next section aims to give us a better understanding of your proposal in general and why it is necessary, as well as a description of your participants. 1. What is the title of this project or program? Provide only the 5 words or less title for the project or program for which you are requesting funding. You will have an opportunity to describe the project or program in full detail later in the application. 2. What is your overall project or program budget for this 1-year grant period? Indicate the total overall budget for this project or program, including all revenues and expenditures. This must equal the dollar amount stated in the required project budget attachment. 3. What is the total grant amount requested for this 1-year grant period? Indicate the amount you are requesting for the project or program you propose. It should be less than your total project or program budget. 4. How much of the overall project or program budget amount for this 1-year grant period have you already secured? Indicate the dollar amount out of the total project or program budget that you already have committed from other sources, not counting any grant dollars proposed to the Foundation in this grant proposal. The Foundation prefers to not be the sole funder of any project. Please indicate if other funding sources are provided in kind, cash, or pledges. 5. If there will be an increase in future operating costs after this 1-year grant period, how will you cover the cost increase? We are interested in understanding how you will sustain any ongoing increases in costs related to the project or program you are proposing in this application. Please explain what increase you will have, if any, and how you will fund it after the end of this grant period. 6. Briefly summarize your proposed program or project. Please provide a brief 250-word or less description of the project or program for which you seek support, including the overall purpose of the project or program. The details of your project will be described in later questions. This response could be likened to your 30-second elevator pitch for this project. Please note that if your proposal is selected for investment, this summary may be reproduced in communication pieces including, but not limited to, press releases and our website. 7. What have you achieved in the past 3 years for participants in your projects or programs that are most like the project or program for which you seek our support? Please focus this response on how many participants have tangibly improved their behavior or condition through your efforts and in what way. What have been the tangible human gains you have contributed to for those you serve? 8. What uniquely qualifies your organization to implement this project now? Help us understand why you are the right group to be doing this work and why now is the right time to be doing it. 9. What programs and services will your project include? Please select one or more that apply. In an effort to understand all of the different types of efforts being put toward reducing recidivism, we have identified these general buckets of programming. Please select all types of programs or services your project will include for each of these participant groups: incarcerated and formerly incarcerated, community, or employers. There is also an Other option for each of these lists. If you select Other, please describe it in the box provided. Project Coverage Area. Please indicate all the parishes in the Greater Baton Rouge area where your project or program will achieve results. Please note that we also have a statewide option. Statewide should only be selected if your project will have true statewide impact, such as changes in policy or law. 2. Who will be your participants in the project or program? Incarcerated, formerly incarcerated, community members, or employers? And what are the barriers and/or challenges your participants are currently facing that your project or program will address during the 1-year grant period? Please tell us which groups of participants you will work with and help us understand the level of difficulty you anticipate in helping them achieve success. If you are working with the incarcerated and/or formerly incarcerated, it will be helpful to describe your participants in terms of their risks and needs assessments: low, moderate, or high risk for recidivism. We want you to clearly define the kinds of barriers and/or challenges in terms of behaviors and conditions that you expect the majority of them to face prior to your working with them. In short, if you were to take a snapshot of the participants and places before you interact with them, describe what they would have to overcome to achieve success in the program or project. Your answer to this question will help us understand what your project or program intends to change. Applicants will not be penalized for having smaller numbers of successes if they are working with more difficult populations. For the results section, we highly recommend that you use the Defining Results Guide Sheet and review the training video Results Thinking and Target Statements. These resources will help you informing your answers. 1. Indicate in a results statement the changes in behavior or condition you expect your participants to achieve. Include both the number of participants you plan to serve and the number that you predict will achieve the result. Your response should follow the format presented in the Results Thinking and Target Statements video. Structure your results statements like this: of the blank number of participants we serve, blank number to achieve will blank change in behavior or condition by blank date. 2. How will you verify the changes in behavior and condition for your participants? What information or evidence will you use to confirm the change has occurred? Explain how you will confirm that participant changes have happened. We want you to keep verification as simple as possible and look to methods that are low effort and low cost. There is no need to launch a full-scale evaluation. You may be able to use existing data sources or rely on existing measuring instruments. You may also be able to use observations and reports by others, or, in some cases, self-reported behaviors. 3. What Prison Reentry Initiative results do you expect your target population to achieve? Include both numbers of participants you plan to serve and the number that you predict to achieve the respective results. Incarcerated and formerly incarcerated, employers, community members. For this question, it is recommended that you review the Strategic Map and Results Trails training video. There are 3 trails available for this question: incarcerated and formerly incarcerated individuals, employers, and community members. Only complete the results trails that are relevant to the proposed project. For example, if you are working with both returning citizens and employers, you will complete both trails. However, if your work with employers is simply a byproduct of your work with returning citizens and not a targeted approach, you would not need to complete it. For each trail point, list the number of individuals who will achieve each respective result. Some boxes will remain blank or 0. Please note the difference between the number of persons to be served versus the number of participants who will achieve the desired result. The number to achieve the result should be smaller than the number to be served. Tracking to success. What are the core elements of your project that are critical to participants achieving the stated results? Help us understand the general structure and core program elements that are in place to address the participant barriers you stated previously, and how much interaction, frequency, and duration is required throughout the project to ensure participant success. Your project or program should reflect a coherent strategy to achieve a result. Tell us the core elements that must be in place for you to succeed with those you serve. This is where you help us to understand the nuances that make your program different from other programs that may sound similar. How will you track success during the grant period? This includes defining quarterly participant milestones you will use to manage progress and the quarterly key activities you or others will take to help participants accomplish each milestone. It is highly recommended that applicants review the milestones video. This response is in the form of a chart indicating what you will do and what results your participants will achieve during each quarter. It is recommended that applicants indicate 5 to 7 milestones. A strong answer to this section includes milestones that reflect progress points that the participants need to achieve in order to be on track to reach the project results. Key activities that include only the major efforts that are required to move the organization or participants to each progress point. A clear if-then relationship between a major project activity and the milestone that defines success for that activity. For instance, if we provide outreach to 1,000, then at least 50 new participants will enroll in the program. All milestones should occur within the 12-month grant period. Key people and groups. Who will lead this project? If that person is not yet on staff, what kind of talent will you need in order to implement this project or program? Explain why the project leader is most qualified to achieve the results you seek. We like to invest in spark plugs. Tell us why you consider these key people to be spark plugs. It is highly recommended that you review the spark plugs training video. If the success of this project is dependent on a person's training or education, be sure to explain the relevance. Who are the partners and collaborators critical to your success? What will they provide the project to help your participants achieve your results? Rather than simply giving us a list of other organizations, describe how the organizations will work with you on this project and what they have committed to provide to ensure your success. What other types of partners or collaborators are still needed for your participants to achieve the results you specified? If you are dependent on others outside of your organization to help your participants achieve the success you want, but you do not yet have partnerships or collaborations in place, please describe the types of organizations with which you will need to forge collaborations in order to accomplish your proposed work. You can also use this space to tell us who you are in conversations with about becoming formal partners. Attachments. Project or program budget. Please submit the project or program budget covering the entire grant period from January to December and include all revenue sources and expenditures. Organization's financials. For your organization's financials, please provide the financial package that is submitted to your board for the most recent past year and your current year to date. Board listing. Please provide your current board listing with complete mailing and email addresses and including demographics. You also have the option for an other attachment. You may use this option to provide us with any other information you think may be pertinent to your proposal. However, do not feel obligated to attach anything extra. Please upload your files as a PDF, Word document, or Excel spreadsheet. Now that we've walked through the programmatic application, let's walk through the questions in the capacity and/or collaboration application that do not appear on the programmatic application. Under proposal intent or participants, question number 6 is, what is the focus of the project? Please check all that apply with the following options. Building the capacity of other organizations to support quality reentry and apply best practices. Building the capacity of your organization to support quality reentry and apply best practices. Collaborating with others to create a seamless continuum of high-quality care. The type of capacity or collaboration that you would like to enact should fall under one of these categories. Please note that this application does not ask you to describe your participants, as this is not a direct service proposal. What is the specific challenge or opportunity your organization wants to address? Provide a brief description of what challenge and/or opportunity you or other organizations or entities are facing that inhibit successful reentry. Describe the specific new capacity and/or collaboration you seek to put in place in order to respond to the challenge or opportunity you defined above. Be specific about what new capability will be in place once your efforts are fully implemented. It is helpful to think of this as a long-term results statement. If it's going to take you 3 years to fully implement, what will be different when that 3 years is completed? Describe any challenges or barriers you anticipate in implementing this new capacity and/or collaboration. Please provide us with an understanding of potential challenges or roadblocks you may encounter while building this new capacity. What is the type of capacity you want to build through this project? Please select all that apply to this project. Collaboration. Working closely with other entities, sharing resources to deliver more or better programs or to realize efficiencies. Coordination of services. Act as coordinator of several organizations working on reentry services to strengthen or expand the continuum of care. Impact measurement and evaluation. Integrate methods to define, achieve, track, verify, improve, and communicate clear gains for those served. New infrastructure usage. Acquire a new computer system, software, or other needs to enhance performance or safety. Professional development and training. To improve reentry services delivery. Program expansion. Expanding programs to serve more or different participants or to start working with them earlier, upon entry to prison, for example. Program improvement. Adopting best practices that will lead to better outcomes for those reentering. Project development. Engage in new program development that will better address reentry or fill a gap in the continuum of care. Describe the specific new or added results you anticipate for the organization involved and those you serve by the end of the grant period. This is where you will include your target results statement for the grant period. We understand that some changes for those you serve may take place outside of the grant period, yet we expect that at least some organizational results should occur within this grant period. If your project includes collaboration, Indicate below which of the new or added capacities will be realized through your project. Increase resource sharing, increase data sharing, increase outreach, increase referrals, or other. What new or added organizational gains and/or participant gains will be achieved for the organization involved and those you serve once the new capacity and/or collaboration is in place? Please select all that apply to this project. Organizational gains. Increased revenue. Through diversified sources of income generation or other steps, the organization builds income from new capacity or collaboration. Think of revenue gains also in terms of volunteers and donated resources for which you would otherwise pay. Reduce costs. Improvement in efficiency from the new capacity or collaboration, whether in the area of internal operations, such as reduced overhead, or program services that will make the organization more sustainable. Participant gains. Decrease time to get to results. Reducing the time it takes to enable participants to achieve results is a benefit to those you serve and may even enable you to increase the number of people you reach or reduce costs to the organization. Increase results for those served. An improvement may prompt better results in two distinct areas. More people achieve the result you intend and/or additional results are achieved by existing people. Increase number served. New capacity or collaboration may enable the organization to serve a larger part of the community. Please note that if you select reduced cost, you will be asked to estimate the total cost savings and when you expect to achieve them. If you select increased revenue, you will be asked to estimate the total revenue increases and when you expect to achieve them. And if you select participant gains, you will be asked how many will benefit once the program is fully implemented and by when. With which stakeholders will you work during the grant period? Options are prison probation or parole staff, reentry service provider staff, faith-based provider staff, volunteer mentors, health and mental health provider staff, or other. If you select other, please tell us what this other group is. What Prison Reentry Initiative results do you expect your participants to achieve? Include both participants you plan to serve and the number that you predict to achieve the respective results. Please note that these Reentry Initiative results are found on the prison staff, probation and parole officers, reentry service providers, faith-based providers, volunteer mentors, and health and mental health providers trail. Hence why we asked you with which stakeholders you would be working in our previous question. Only complete the fields relevant to your organization and the project you are currently seeking funding for. Some boxes will remain blank or zero. Here are the questions that differ from the programmatic application on the systems change application. What specifically is the system, condition, or issue that you want to influence through your efforts? Provide a brief description of what challenge and/or opportunity you or other organizations or entities are facing that inhibits successful reentry. What is the population or place you propose to help through this project? Describe the persons, groups, or places and the challenges they face that are not effectively addressed under current conditions or within existing systems. This may be a general group or a subset of persons whose specific risks or issues are not covered or served adequately by existing systems. What results do you anticipate achieving once the change in the system is fully made? Think of this as a long-term target results statement. What will be different for the population you wish to support? What percentage will be benefiting, and when do you envision that occurring? What is the total number of incarcerated or formerly incarcerated that could benefit when the change is fully implemented, and when do you anticipate that may happen? Give us an idea of the number of people impacted by the proposed change in the system. If your results will not be achieved during the grant period, describe the specific results you anticipate by the end of the grant period based on your results statement. This is your short-term target results statement. Remember that results are not activities, such as participation in workshops. They are specific, verifiable changes in behavior made possible by these activities. With which stakeholders will you work during the grant period? Options for this question are district attorneys and judges, sheriffs, wardens, probation and parole officers, state lawmakers, and employers. What Prison Reentry Initiative results do you expect stakeholders to achieve during the grant period? Include both stakeholders you plan to serve and the number that you predict to achieve the respective results. There are 4 different results trails in this application: district attorneys and judges, sheriffs, wardens, probation and parole officers, lawmakers, and employers. Only complete the fields relevant to the proposed project. More than one section may be applicable in some cases. Here are some application tips. Focus on your main participant impact. For instance, if you are working with returning citizens to gain employment, are the results indicated in the results trail for employers a focus of your program or simply a byproduct of the returning citizens gaining employment? Be succinct and complete. Be clear about what project funds will do. Clarify how you will get to the project results. And use the guidance, examples, workbooks, and technical assistance provided. This concludes this portion of our training series. We encourage potential applicants to make use of all resources available to them, including these videos, workbooks, and guide sheets. The video training series includes videos on Guidelines and Approach, where we discuss the background of the Prison Reentry Initiative, its guidelines, and the Foundation's approach. Strategic Map and Results Trails. These documents together define the outcomes we are seeking from our grantee partners. Spark Plugs describes people who are catalysts for change in whom we want to invest. Results Thinking and Target Statements. This video is meant to help you move from thinking about your programs in terms of what you do to thinking about your programs in terms of what results you get for your clients. Milestones, the individual markers on your pathway to success. The applications. This video is a walkthrough of each of our 3 types of applications. Application timeline, access, and next steps. Walks you through important dates and accessing and creating your application through our online portal. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to contact the Foundation at any time. 225-292-1344 or www.hawilsonfoundation.org.